Okay. Well,
Nasty.
thank you for letting me get into your class.
You
It is
read ahead of
always
some
fun to see how other teachers do the activities, see their classroom procedures, and kind of just get a vibe for how they do their classes. So, you were doing the appointments.
Yes.
How do you think it went?
Well, considering it was the first time, it went a little bumpy at first. I don't think they understood the directions maybe completely, so I could have clarified that a little bit better. But after trying out the first go and then giving them that moment to kind of regroup and re-clarify their appointments, I feel like every round they did, it just got better and better and better a little bit as far as them moving to their new person and kind of figuring out what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually even had that note here. Had a reset mid-activity to clarify the appointments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you did a really nice job doing that. Just being like, hey, guys, here's what you need to do. Let's get it figured out. Yeah, so just some notes I had.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that your classroom procedures are well established. The students were ready to go when the bell rang. It's 7th hour, so yeah, there was a little chatter, but like, okay guys, let's go. We got stuff to do today. Walked around to make sure the students were filling out the sheets correctly. And like I told you when we had talked a little bit, it just takes one person not doing it right to screw the whole thing up. One thing that you did that I did not even think about that I liked is you just split the class down the middle. Me, I went to each table, it was like A, B, A, B, A, B. I thought that was really nice because then it's obvious, it's like, oh, no, you were on that side of the room, you're a B,
Because like
you're a B.
that class has a seating chart for the most part. There's a couple people who've migrated, but they usually sit in the same place every time. So I knew I could remember what side of the room they were on. I thought maybe they could too, and they might have more opportunity to match up with the right letter.
I really thought that I liked that better because, if they were paying attention, it should be pretty obvious, like, oh, if they're over here, they're an A. If you were sitting over here, you were a B, but, yeah. So, overall, what were your thoughts? Did you think it went good, bad?
It was started out rough, and that kind of made me nervous and a little concerned. But then after clarifying a little bit the directions, I felt like they kept doing better and better. And what I actually really liked about it is some people who tend to kind of shut down when they just have independent work time or arguing about what the answer was and actually really talking about math in a way that they don't usually do. So that part of it I loved, even though it was kind of loud in the room, which sometimes makes me feel crazy personally. I felt like they were actually doing more math and more actual work themselves because, I don't know, I think they felt like their partner was going to depend on them to be able to compare.
Yeah.
I like that.
Group work's a big part of what I do when I teach, and then I always try to have that accountability part, right? When I did this activity, I emphasized like, hey, if you're not doing the work, your partner doesn't have something they can check. You guys should have the same answer. If you're not, this is going to give you some good discussions. So I like that you pointed up on that. Yeah, I even was working with one group and they're like, wow, I really like this. Like, we're getting to talk with each other and we're moving up and around. And then, of course, you had the one that was like, just give me the worksheet.
Well, that's because that individual person is usually so quick and fast. They don't even have to show work. They can do most of it in their head, and they fly through it when they get to do it on their own. So I actually really like that they were grouped with different people because I know they have a lot of strong abilities, and they would be very good at coaching others through stuff. So.
Yeah, I think that's really important. One of the things I emphasize in my class, like, you really don't know it unless you can teach it. And I think you even said it to her. You said she's only going to get better if she teaches you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important. So you said when the classroom gets a little loud, it gets on you a little bit.
Oh yeah, just because my personal learning style to focus and concentrate, I like quiet to think, which is odd that I would pick to be a teacher. But I also like when they're talking to each other. So even though it makes my inside my brain feel a little crazy, I actually like it when they're talking to each other about the math. So
would a possible maybe kind of compromise be maybe when they find their appointment? Okay, 2 minutes, silently think about this.
Yeah, I would probably try to do that next time. I like that idea a lot.
I think that also then makes for better conversations too. It's something looking back, I'm like, yeah, that might have gone better because it's like a lot of the kids, they're just like, I don't know how to do this. how do you do this? And the kid's like, I'm trying to work my problem. Like, why are you
If
asking?
everybody
Like,
just spent 2 minutes, just focus on your own problem right now. And then I do wanna do it again, because I think that that would also be more effective if they had paired up correctly too. So I wanna try it again with those little fixes of try it 2 minutes on your own. Okay, now you've got 2 minutes to check and share, and then new appointment.
yeah, and I do appreciate that you kind of powered through it. I could see that there were some times where you're like,
I wanna just quit. I
You're
wanna
like,
quit and just say, do this whole thing, I'll go print it right now.
I know, I could see you when you were just like, guys, how do you not get this? You find
do you
one
do it?
person, and you write their name on your
Yeah.
sheet, and they write
Yeah.
their name on your sheet.
You got one teacher, you go to your third hour. You got one class. You go to 4
Uh-huh.
classes, third hour, and just pick and choose.
So I did want to thank you for giving yourself the time to reset.
Thanks.
Be like, this is okay. It's
Thanks
okay.
for noticing
It's
that.
okay. I could see you're like, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And I was glad that I went ahead and did it, because
Yes.
after they went through a few more rounds, I felt like I could hear them talking about math. I could see people doing stuff that hadn't been doing things lately so much in class when we have work time. So it was good.
Yeah.
I think I would do the appointments maybe a little bit differently next time too.
What were you thinking for next
I think
time?
first, okay, like divide the room up like I did.
Mhm.
Then like, okay, on your mark, get set, go find one appointment. Now come and sit back down. Does everybody have an
Mm.
appointment for number 1? Okay, now you're gonna go find your number 2 appointment. Go find your number 2 appointment. And maybe just have them do it more one at a time. And maybe just do a smaller activity just to make sure we practice the procedures where there's only like 4 appointments, so it doesn't take forever to build the appointments.
Yeah.
But maybe just to like say, hey, go find your one person, and then like, let's make sure everybody knows who they're gonna go to at that time.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of tough is a lot of times when you want to introduce these collaborative learning things, it's a little less intimidating for students if it's not math related.
Mhm.
So if this is something that you would want to try in the future, one of the recommendations would do is like, first week of the school, be like, hey, here's something we might do, appointments. Go find your appointment, here's your question. What's your favorite ice cream flavor,
Right. If you had $1 million, what's the first thing you'd buy? Or just some of those fun get to know you things. That would be really fun.
Yeah, because what I really liked, and it's like you said, the students seemed engaged.
Mhm.
It seemed like that energy that you said you're kind of trying to figure out how to use was
Mhm.
being directed
Exactly,
positively. But it can be intimidating for them when it's a change in the routine and
Mhm.
it's something new and it's stuff that maybe some of them are struggling on.
Mhm.
Because I know one of the hesitations for some students is, well, I don't know how to do this, so I don't want 6 other people knowing I don't know how to do this.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was just interesting because I had 3 very different outcomes in the 3 classes I taught.
Mm-hmm. That's what's so fun, is that like one activity
Right.
can have so many different results.
Second hour, they didn't screw up the appointments, and it was the first time I was doing it, so I'm like, oh
This
my
is-
gosh,
this
this
is
activity is amazing.
great.
I'm gonna do this like every review.
Mhm.
Then 4th hour, the one kid butchered it, so the whole thing went to shambles, as you can tell. Just
Yeah.
one
It only
kid.
takes one person to not be on the right track, and then it puts everything off.
Yeah. And I was gonna comment, this was a thing for our discussion, but you actually problem solved and figured it out yourself. So I was gonna say, sometimes the kids are shy, so they don't want to do the appointments. But then you were already like, hey, where are the A's? This kid needs an A1 or A2 or A6 or whatever you said. So that was really awesome. I can tell that you've been doing this for a while because you just kind of have these on the fly and know how to get the car back on track, get the train on the tracks. Yeah, and then again, the other note I was gonna say, you already figured. I go, yeah, it is okay from time to time if A's work with A's because then they can just talk about the problem together.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they don't have a way of checking. So when I had some A's together, I said, hey, is anybody over here a B? Great. Hey, what did you get? Because these 2 A's, this is
Or
what they got.
sometimes when I had a couple of them where it was just 2 A's, I was like, you guys are both A's, you decide. One of you do A, one of you do B.
Yeah,
And,
that's a pretty easy fix too.
You know, and then the one girl that I was gonna work with, she was doing B and I was doing A. Then I started wandering off to answer questions. She's like, it's okay, I'm just gonna do them both now. Because it was the last one, that was kind of nice, easy one. But by then she felt confident enough to just do both, and I liked that.
Yeah. Again, just some good notes. I appreciate that you kept with it. Really, I said it like 3 times in here. Nice problem solving on the fly. Like you could tell.
Thanks.
I could tell you're maybe a little out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. It was that active activity. I don't usually do a lot of those.
Yeah. What I would encourage in the future is sometimes it's nice for the kid to get a change in the routine.
Mm-hmm.
Get them engaging with each other. There's obviously merit for the independent practice and
Uh-huh.
making sure it's a quiet environment so everybody that's learning.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try it again next week with some of the review stuff for finals.
Yeah.
Like on the block day, I know I have some people who need to take quizzes and tests on Monday, Tuesday, so I may not be able to do a whole activity then, but I think I'm gonna try to do some kind of little like review, like one problem over each unit, and maybe do something like that for the block day review.
Yeah, a thought on that. What's nice is if you do establish these different activities, you can almost do, hey, you four are missing tests. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna do our test. The rest of you guys, we're doing appointments today. Here are your problems, you know what to do, and they can be self-directed.
That's true, that would be really cool.
So that's what I really like about the review days is
Mhm.
sometimes it'll be a little chaotic in my room because I might have 3 different activities going on, but again, and like I said, you do a really nice job establishing those classroom procedures. So I can almost promise as they get more comfortable, or if you get more comfortable doing these and rolling these out, that the kids are gonna be like, oh, it's appointments today, okay, are you an A or a B?
I'm in on this, this is my new activity, like, we're gonna be doing the drama
Yeah,
classes all the times.
Yeah, any other activities you want, let me know. Another one I do that gets them up and out of the classroom, gallery walk.
Yeah, I've seen yours, and I've done those before, like years ago when I taught
Yeah.
at Harmon, we did a lot of that because we always had our kids in a group
Cool.
right by their lockers in their hallway, so you could just have stuff up and ready, and it was never
Nice.
in anybody else's way or anything else. We used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
I like those as well. But this
Cool.
was a lot of fun because I loved, even though it gets loud, I love it when they have conversations about actual math. So,
yes. I have a sign on my door that says, sorry, not sorry for the noise, math is happening.
that's right.
So, again, thank you so much for letting me observe your classroom. If there's anything I can do to help you in the future, let me know.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Read the